The topic of this presentation is phonics. Phonics refers to the relationships between the letters of written language and the sounds of spoken language. Reflect on your journey. Were you taught phonics as you learned to read? Which phonics rules do you recall? What methods did you use to learn and practice phonics skills? Were they effective? Children's reading development is dependent on their understanding of the alphabetic principle. The goal of phonics instruction is to help children to learn and be able to use the alphabetic principle. The purpose of phonics instruction is not that children learn to sound out words, but that they learn to recognize words quickly and automatically so that they can turn their attention to comprehension of text. Research from the National Reading Panel and the American Psychological Society support these ideas. Phonics helps all learners. So-called good readers spell better with phonics instruction, and so-called struggling readers learn to read better and faster with explicit, systematic phonics instruction. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? There is a good deal of consistency in the letter-sound relationships in the English language. Research cited on this slide suggests that 84% of the words in English can be decoded using phonics skills. How would you complete this thought? Phonics instruction should begin with the teaching of blank. Here are 4 response options. Choose one. Consonants with more than one consonant sound, consistent and frequent consonants, vowels, short vowel sounds, diphthongs, like aw in caught or oi in coin. The recommended practice is to introduce consistent and frequent consonants in beginning phonics instruction. What are some other characteristics of effective phonics instruction? Effective phonics lessons are active, meaning students are engaged. The lessons are social, meaning they're interactive. Interactions occur between the students and teacher and the students and students. Effective phonics lessons are reflective. Students make sense of what they've learned. Effective phonics instruction is systematic. That means it's methodical, orderly, regular, organized, efficient, and logical. Effective phonics instruction is sequential. There is a pre-planned skill sequence that progresses from easier to more difficult over time. Effective phonics instruction is cumulative because it builds on previous lessons and experiences. Effective phonics instruction is explicit. This means the teacher explains and models before offering guided practice with corrective feedback, and then extends practice on skills as needed by individuals according to formative assessment data and frequent checks for understanding. Effective phonics instruction is applied to text. That means students practice phonics skills by working with words in isolation, by then reading word lists, and then transferring their knowledge of phonics skills to connected text in the form of decodable books or generalized text available in the classroom or curriculum. Effective phonics instruction uses active vocal response. That means students talk and interact with the instructor. The lesson is not quietly completing worksheets alone. There are 5 main approaches to phonics instruction. Analogy instruction involves teaching students to recognize that the rhyme segment of an unfamiliar word is identical to that of a familiar word, and then blending the known rhyme with the new word onset. For example, a student reads brick by recognizing that ick is contained in the known word kick. The analytic approach to phonics instruction involves teaching students to analyze letter-sound relations in previously learned words to avoid pronouncing sounds in isolation. So if a student knows the O sound in crow, they can use that knowledge and read words like elbow, bellow. The synthetic approach to phonics instruction involves teaching students explicitly to convert letters into sounds or phonemes, and then blend the sounds to form recognizable words. So there's explicit, direct, clear modeling practice going from part to whole, from phoneme to whole word. Embedded phonics instruction teaches phonics skills by embedding that phonics instruction in text reading. It's a more implicit approach that relies to some extent on incidental learning. The final approach, phonics through spelling, is teaching students to segment words into phonemes and to select letters for those phonemes. That is, teaching students to spell words phonemically. Word recognition. When readers become automatic with their word reading, they can recognize whole words quickly and accurately. They maybe recognize words using a sound by sound or syllable by syllable approach. For skilled readers, virtually all words have become quick and automatic to recognize. This might be referred to as a sight word. Memorizing high-frequency words holistically is not a recommended practice. The most powerful mechanism for eventually accessing words by sight is the use of graphophonemic structure, a process that fuses the word's units into memory. Authors Kamai and Katz list 5 different ways that words can be recognized. One is by identifying and blending together the individual phonemes and words. 2 is by noticing and blending together familiar spelling patterns. 3 is by recognizing whole units or reading them by sight. 4 is by making analogies to other words that are already known. And 5 is by using clues from context to guess or infer a word's identity. Of these 5 different ways, the synthetic explicit approach to phonics instruction pairs well with the first listed here, identifying and blending together individual phonemes and words. Let's look at other activities that might be recommended for facilitating word recognition. One activity is making words. The steps to this activity are listed on the slide. Start with the word tip, change one letter to make it say tap. So we've done exercises like phoneme substitution under the strand of phonemic awareness. Now introducing the printed letters or graphemes to make these substitutions allows children to use phonics skills and apply their understanding of alphabetic principle so that ultimately they can recognize words automatically and be able to comprehend the text that they're reading. Word walls also help facilitate word recognition. There are different options for how to have and use a word wall in a classroom. Visual phonics is a method of phonics instruction used for students who are needing visual support to map sounds to symbols. This might include deaf and hard of hearing students, students with auditory processing challenges. There are 2 websites linked here. One gives a video demonstration of visual phonics, and the other is a link to where you can find out more information about See the Sound visual phonics. Let's wrap up with a practice question. Which of the following best describes the relationship between word decoding and reading comprehension in a beginning reader's development? A, decoding skills and reading comprehension skills tend to develop independently of one another. B, reading comprehension skills directly facilitate the development of decoding skills. C, development of decoding skills is secondary to the development of reading fluency and comprehension skills. Or D, rapid automatic decoding skills help facilitate development of reading fluency and comprehension. What would the best response option be? Choice D, rapid automatic decoding skills help facilitate the development of reading fluency and comprehension.